Good. Yeah. So first, a little bit about me. I was for 2.5 decades working as a senior management in different companies, always looking at the newest technologies, like at that days, introduction of PCs, introduction of DSL, for instance, introduction of TV, flat TV, and so forth. And I decided in 2011 to step out my management career and to concentrate more on the digital shift. Why? Because the technology market is more and more becoming a commodity market. So it is more looking, okay, that you steer through the merchandise and not so much to explain about the technology, what my goal always was. I'm concentrating now since end of 2015 absolutely and fully on blockchain. Had basically the same experience. I liked the picture. It remembered me that at the first I was really confused. What is this all about? And what helped me a lot was certificate course I made last year at the MIT that was called Future Commerce, and was basically just looking how to bring blockchain to the real economy. And that motivated and brought me to the decision to change my business in this direction. And since middle of last year, I'm working in that space. And in this year, 8th of May, we decided to start a company which is partly, yes, doing consultancy. What we are doing as well is training, and we are working together with our customers on projects, and we are preparing own projects. So there's a roadmap behind this. On our website, perhaps that is helpful for the one or others, you find, for instance, a couple of sources for YouTube videos, kind of articles, some presentations. So selected material, we don't say that is all which is available, definitely not. It is selected, it's 10, 15 pieces per category, and that might help you to dig in more from the business side. So that is how we enter the blockchain to work on this. What for us is extremely important, because honestly spoken, all the areas you touch upon, we are discussing with customers today. Yeah? So with real world customers, and all this early stage, of course, often just first talks, but here and there already first real projects. And we are always asked the same question: what is happening in my industry? What is happening at my competitors? Is there any risk? Is there any opportunity for me? And we always have to do the same job, to dig into the industry and to understand what can the impact of blockchain be there. And we said if we have to do it anyway, we can provide it. We can make it free available, at least some information. And what we started is not like this. You have a lot of information which are valuable to have an overview about what is possible with blockchain. We said we make a category on our website which is blockchain in use. And we have tiny tiles here per use case, and we categorized in two directions. One is the industry or the use of blockchain, and the other one is just some specific words on that blockchain, whether it's public or it's enterprise, whether it's consortium, do you need a digital asset, and so forth. And if you go through all these, at this moment of time, a little bit more than 350, so we don't say everything is in there. We put in there what we think is reasonable, makes sense, and might have the opportunity or is already in the market. So, and if you look how they are tagged, of course, most of these are coming from the final word or having to do with the final words. A lot are combination of two or even three. So supply chain and finance, for instance, often there, like the IBM Musk example. And but in other categories like Internet of Things, like energy, like entertainment, and so forth, you find examples partly with more in-depth information, with further sources, partly only with a link to an article or so, because we don't have 50 people working behind this and providing all the information to the market. So if we then go into categories, I will now have a look at the supply chain management and transport logistic category. Why? Because that, for ChainStep, is the very first focus point. We are pretty sure that blockchain will have impact on almost every might be too much, but on a lot of and even most of industries. So where to start? We're sitting privately. We are living in Hamburg. Hamburg is a great place when it comes to transportation, logistics with a harbor and so forth. Hamburg, there's a clear need of digitization. Yeah, if you look to the Netherlands, for instance, yeah, Rotterdam project, for instance. So the government of Hamburg is aware about this. We are just since 1st of August founded a digital hub logistics where we are sitting as well, and we said that is the right point to start. That is not the only thing we are doing. So we are having customers in energy market. Our biggest project, what we will launch or bring to the public on Hamburg and Frankfurt Book Fair, is in the publishing area. But honestly spoken, it all comes to tracking, tracing, identity, license management, and that kind of things, and that you can use in different areas. So if we go into supply chain management, transport, logistics, Ryan already told a bit about this. You can see plenty of articles, plenty of use cases. IBM is quite active there, so really we think it's the same. The most visible project so far was the one Maersk and IBM, where they really looked at the classical tracking and tracing and how can trade finance be done. I know from IBM we did a pitch beginning of August, and there IBM people were as well. IBM has made an analysis, for instance, that partly the cost for transferring the data, so data management for cargo, is partly double that high than the cost of the carrying of the goods. Yeah? So they want to come out of this. It is very difficult because you have got so many stakeholders. You have got so many different interests. You don't have you don't have standardized digital processes, and so you need to have ways. Maersk decided to do that way. They say it's pretty successful, and so they want to follow that up. Another big IT company everybody knows here in this room, of course, and working with it is Microsoft. Microsoft is going a little bit a different way there. So Microsoft is quite close to Ethereum, not only Ethereum, of course. Their main interest, of course, is to sell cloud computing, but they want to develop solutions as well together with partners. So they're working, for instance, together with a company called Mojix. Mojix is sitting in New York and concentrating on RFID and IoT. And what they, for instance, look at is the cold chain. How can goods be tracked? Basically, exactly what you explained. Yeah, they are working on together with the Auburn University. But this is basically a project, a kind of demonstration what they want to do. Whether and when it comes to real life, we need to see. Another one, as I mentioned already, is happening just right now in Rotterdam. So the University of Delft and a couple of companies and finance companies are looking mainly on the chain and supply financing, but of course at circular economics as well. That project started in November last year. It will run until end of 2018. It is supported by the government, and yeah, as far as we see, we are planning to visit them. I will explain in a minute why we are doing so. As you can see, they are, if you go to the web and grab information, you can see that they are really moving forward, and it's quite promising. And another comparable project is just started in Anderlecht as well. Something starting in Hamburg as well. That is not finalized yet. In Hamburg, 10 different entities, let's say like this, just applied for a funding project, funding by the government called Hanseblock. And the target of Hanseblock is that we want to secure the consignment note, den Frachtbrief, by blockchain technology to make it transparent, to make it secure, and to find new business models by smart contracts, of course, smart contracts, smart oracles, that we use external data to secure, for instance, cold chain as well. We had the first application we did in April. We received a very positive feedback. We will now send the final application end of August. Expect the feedback from the government then by October, and if everything goes smoothly, and I wouldn't present it here, if we don't believe in this, then we will start in January to work on that project. And when we have started this, we will visit, of course, comparable projects to cooperate with them, because all this needs to come together at the end. Just very quickly, one more technical slide here, what we will look at. So land transportation, air freight, sea transportation. We will use smart contracts to map the contract logic. We will use blockchain for security reason, and smart oracle to include the real world data. So basically that's it. I now wanted to lead over to Katharina. Katharina, I even have a photo from her. So she has a new car, and she was so happy to drive this morning with her new car, a Mazda sports car, to Hamburg. And we phoned even yesterday in the evening. And yeah, she has a flat tire now, and it was not possible, special tire to get it in the morning, so she cannot present ZIMS, but at least I can just 2 minutes explain about that market. So this, if you go to our website, by the way, you don't have to register there. You can do it completely anonymous. So this is just to support the word, let's say like this, because we have it anyway. So you can see a couple of use cases or a couple of projects in that area as well. So there are a couple of directions. Of course, has to do with contracts. It has to do with architecture, for instance. And there's one area which is quite interesting, which is the reputation management. So reputation of the one renting a flat and the other side as well. And that is the area where SIMS is going to concentrate on. This, I think, is really a project which should be watched. They are now working on their proof of concept. They have got a great team, so I know the key players of the team, and I'm pretty sure that they can move things. But I'm very sorry, I'm simply not capable. We have the presentation here to explain all the details about this. So if there's another event from Women Tech Makers, I'm pretty sure that Katharina would love to show this. Yeah, basically that's it, what I want to explain to you. The positive side now is that the lunchtime is a little bit longer. And or if anybody has questions now, perhaps this could be a possibility to me or to others.
You have questions to
I hand over to you.
I'm sure you would also answer some questions, right? Yes?
I have a question to Frank.
Yeah.
In terms of, I mean, mostly blockchain makes sense for digital products. And now you speak about a very physical supply chain.
Yeah.
So how do you think we will solve the problem of data unlocking from the physical world to the blockchain? Because this seems to be the important step before we sort of make data immutable and save it forever on the blockchain.
Yes, so I don't want to hide or to disappear, but honestly spoken, that really depends on the case. I can explain about two things what we are working on at this moment of time. So with one company producing RFIDs, inclusive sensor data, we will on the 19th of October, we will present a use case where we will use that data securely, but the question is always how to enter that data. So you need to have a certificate or whatever, something what the people trust when the data are put onto the blockchain, and then you have a kind of digital twin. Another topic which we are working on that is quite close to a quite famous, by the way, led by women projects, Provenance, Jessie Baker, London. She has the same problem that if you want to track the ingredients of some food, yeah, you need to secure that it is the right one. So you need to look at the edges, how it comes in and how it comes out. We are at this moment of time, I need to be careful, working with a seed supplier, let's keep it like this, yeah, to exactly do that. Yeah. So a couple of big tigers, really big tigers, with worldwide recognition are now stepping into this. Of course, they are not first talking and then starting to work. Yeah, so they are selecting their partners. IBM is doing a couple of things, as you know. Deloitte is doing a couple of things. Specialized companies like us are doing a couple of things, and they always need to find the right question fitting to the projects when it comes to the combination of the real world data and the digital data.
I think the problem about real-world data is that it's sometimes also wrong. So like the e-bill of lading, if I think about master airway bills and air freight, and then you have a wrong master airway bill, this is a pain in the ass in the real world. And if you end up having the wrong master airway bill somewhere in the blockchain, you're not allowed to delete it because in the blockchain you can't delete anything. I'm actually wondering how this might work then.
Yeah, so yes, first of all, shit in, shit, then you have shit in. Yeah. Second point is, yeah, there are different possibilities. So we heard about the fork. Yeah, that even might be possible, not because some supply chain data are wrong, but you can have another transaction rolling that old transaction back. That could be possible as well. But you have to be very careful if you work with external data, and sometimes it even doesn't make sense to put them on the blockchain, because if it is unsecure, if you might have wrong data, so you might better find other ways. I don't say blockchain is a solution for everything, but blockchain has the potential to make things more transparent, much quicker, no single point of failure, and all the things, yeah, we saw already and are discussed. So I don't want to wipe it away, yeah, but there is no general answer to this. This is a key topic, no doubt about this, and it has to be very well analyzed to understand, is blockchain a solution or not, and if yes, what is the solution providing the security you want to have, you need to have, you accept.
Yeah, I have a question to Simon. In terms of buzzwords, and the next buzzword I've been told is the DLT, the distributed ledger. Is this the most interesting thing now as well, because we move again away from blockchain, and I mean, first we moved away from altcoins and Bitcoin, then blockchain became famous, and now distributed ledgers are becoming more and more famous because they seem to be as well a bit more nicer to the way businesses, like closed businesses, are conducting their processes in business. Do you think this would be the next or the more interesting buzzword to talk to customers or to the industry?
I don't know whether it will be more interesting. In my vision, they will both coexist at some point in time. And I think especially if you look at innovation in general, the first thing that we do is we apply something new, and we think and we look at how we can change, to substitute for something which already exists. And I think if you look at blockchain in its purest sense, it will make a lot of things possible that we do not know yet. So it makes application possible which requires a lot of imagination, a lot of creativity. And I think distributed ledgers, it's more close to today. And obviously it's also, it's kind of a new innovation, but it's closer to existing businesses. It's easier to imagine things with it. So I think both will coexist, but basically probably for existing institutions working with distributed ledgers, it's just a smaller step. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
So perhaps one expression helps. So distributed ledger or enterprise blockchain are great for industrial workflow, exactly what Simon just said, but this wording I think is helpful, and yeah, that will be used quite often soon, I think.
Okay, so I guess we will have a panel after the lunch, and we want to keep it open. So this will be a great time for more questions, I guess, to all the experts that we have here. And yeah, so now it's time for lunch, for networking. In case you didn't get a mission for the day today, that we still have some papers there at the entrance. And yes, so please get back to here at 1:30 in time for our panel.